You're watching CHCO-TV's gavel-to-gavel coverage of the July 2025 regular council meeting for the Municipal District of St. Stephen. I'm Florence Mitchell. In today's meeting, under bylaws, council will move to give the draft of zoning bylaw Z4 its first reading by title, that the draft be forwarded to the Planning Review and Adjustment Committee for their views, that a date of September 10th be set for a public hearing of objections, and that council directs planning staff to hold an open public information session on August 14th. Under new business, council will move to appoint Assistant Treasurer Frank Godso as Treasurer, effective August 1st, and to appoint Nikki Mott as Assistant Treasurer. Council will also make a motion amending bank signing authorities. Council will move to appoint two persons as a voting member and alternate voting member at meetings of the Union of Municipalities. Additionally, Council will move to appoint Councillor Joyce Wright to the Board of Directors for the Business Improvement Area. Council will also move to give assent to a municipal services easement for 3 new building lots on Morin Avenue, allowing the municipal district to access waterline infrastructure installed by the developer. Finally, council will move to direct clothing donation bin operators to remove the bins from municipal property no later than September 30th, and to direct district staff to remove any remaining bins after that point. Now let's join council in the Moosehead Room at the Garceland Civic Center in St. Stephen.
Welcome everyone to the Municipal District of St. Stephen Council agenda for Wednesday, July 30th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Before we begin, I would like to respectfully acknowledge that we are gathered today on ancestral unceded territories of the CHCO-TV people. All right, start off. I'll take a mover and seconder that the agenda for the regular council meeting of July 30th, 2025 be approved with one late addition as follows. Request for decisions in International Homecoming Festival Parade.
I'll move.
And Councillor Greenlaw and Deputy Mayor Wheaton. Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Any conflicts of interest this evening? Seeing none. Okay. Let's see, we keep rolling here. I'll take a mover and seconder that the minutes of the regular council meeting held on June 25th, 2025 be approved as presented.
So moved.
Councillor Heislip, Councillor Wright. Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, motion carried. Thank you. All right, next up, mover and seconder to move into the report of the Chief Administrative Officer be acknowledged and received.
So moved.
Councillor Greenlaw,
Second.
Councillor Cornish, and I'll hand it over to you, Jeff, to discuss your report.
Thank you, Your Worship. The report was in your package. Some of the key highlights: fair bit of time spent on the housing in general, the term housing over this reporting period. As the report indicates, working on with a developer who's looking at potentially 63 units being constructed in the next little while, if we can reach the finalization of that discussion. We are also looking at, in the final stages, I believe, of getting the hopefully the federal approval on our grant funding to extend Bud Avenue to the municipal property located just east of the Beacon Apartments. That will make that property exceptionally more development ready. And we do have a conceptual approach to that property that would see, last concept we had was about 124 units over a 3-phase project potentially. So we're hoping that the federal government's been asking us lots of questions, which is a good sign. Usually we have their attention on our file. So we're hoping that will keep moving and we'll get a positive response to that in short order. I continue to work with my colleagues at social development on the issues surrounding the shelter, the social impacts of the shelter and its operation. They are actively responding to my questions and queries and discussions, and are taking the lead on the public side of what they plan on doing. They're still doing some internal work on exactly how things are going to roll out, but I'm hopeful that the impacted residents and stakeholders are going to have a very good opportunity to have a frank conversation with the government on that facility and the impacts on their quality of life and mitigating strategies moving forward. So continue to lean on the government to get that going and scheduled. Another big file we've been working on is, as I said, one of the many multi-jurisdictional matters that we've been talking about is the long-term sustainability of the Giddens Memorial Airport. The RSC manager and the CAO for the town of St. Andrews and I have been taking the lead in the early stages of trying to get a game plan together for all the impacted communities to work together towards the long-term sustainability. So that's in progress right now. Municipal branding project, we continue to work on our consultation phase and our grassroots outreach. I have a meeting scheduled with the consultant in about a week or 10 days' time to talk about what they've learned over this time and the next steps for that project. Obviously, been a fair bit of time spent with the St. Croix hockey group, trying to assist with their early startups matters relating to their operation from this facility. Things that weren't in the written report that have come up since it was drafted. His Worship mentioned that we did host just for the meeting started, that we hosted a group of young people, some of our youngest residents, this morning here in your council chambers, and I think they had a good time. I think they were a little disappointed that the mayor was not Mayor Humdinger from Paw Patrol, but we got him through that. We had a good chat with them, and it's always interesting to see the questions and the comments that come out of the youngest of our citizens. But a lot of fun, and I hope that we can do that again moving forward. I did receive correspondence from the Department of Local Government relating to Council's submission for the reduction of the number of seats around the council table for starting in the next general election. Our submission has been approved by the minister. So what the next step is I will be providing the department with a draft bylaw for their review. The bylaw, the text is written. Our friends at the RSC are practically working on getting me a map that goes along with it that shows the ward boundaries, the new ward boundaries being the 2 wards. As soon as I have that from them, I'll submit that for their review. I fully expect that you should be in a position to start doing readings of the new bylaw at your next council meeting. It's not a complicated bylaw to write, and it's not, or to review for that matter. So that's it took some chasing, but we finally did get that response. For those of you members of council that do like to come visit us from time to time in the office over the next little bit, maybe look around when you come in. We're doing some shuffling of workstations for the staff to get some different productivity and team environments built. So if it looks like we're in a bit of chaos over the next week or 2 weeks, that we probably are as we move stuff around. And you might not find the person you're looking for in their old spot. So feel free to check in with us. And the last thing I wanted to bring up, I am looking for any councillor interests. Don't have to do it tonight. Just email me for the 2 working groups on the bylaws that we agreed to set up. One being the animal control, the other one being the traffic bylaw. Would love to get two members of council on that. In an ideal world, I think it'd be good for it to be one urban and one rural representation to have that nice balanced conversation on those items. But feel free to reach out if you're interested in one, both, and as I start putting the team together, the ads for public participants will be going out probably tomorrow, but by the end of the week, looking for expressions of interest. Just finished off the posting and the expression of interest template form that will get posted. So hopefully we'll get some good response to that as well and get some interested parties to come work with us. With that, I think that's all for me, Your Worship, and happy to take questions.
Item number 3, I don't think you spoke of that, but I think it's important, the partnership. John Howard? Yeah, I think it's a good one.
As the report indicates, Deputy Mayor Wheaton had done some outreach to me and connected my office with the good folks at the John Howard Society, specifically about their work placement program, where they take people and put them through a bit of a training program and then find them work placements to enhance their employability. And after a few really good discussions, we decided that we would host one of their participants for a 12-week period. No cost to the municipality. It's the wages are reimbursed to us from John Howard Society. So it's a very low risk for us, and it's nice to have an extra set of hands around some of our facilities. So this individual will be working with here in the GCC, doing some maintenance stuff here. I believe there's a stint planned for him out in the field in the Parks Department, a stint in with Public Works, getting a feel of all the different things we do here. And if it works out well, it wouldn't be beyond the realm of possibility that this could be a casual laborer for us moving forward, or and if they use that us as a stepping stone and job references and experience to go on to bigger and better things, that's great for our community as well. So, and then the John Howard Society folks have asked if I would sit down on a panel during their next training session, just to talk about job opportunities and things that exist and whatever else they may have on their agenda. So I think it's a good partnership. So far, the early results on the individual working with seem to be quite positive from what I hear from the department heads involved. So yeah, I think hopefully it'll be a good partnership, not only for this particular individual, but moving forward as well.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor? Yep.
First of all, I want to thank you, Jeff, for doing that. I went to their last session, and I was really impressed with the young people that were there and the jobs that they were so proud of moving ahead. So I think it's a good thing we can do for the community. And also, Jeff, I want to thank you for all the work that you've been doing. Like there's a whole bunch of topics and things that we need, and so thank you again.
Thank you. Yeah, Brian?
I don't know if it's appropriate time or not, but I have a question for you, a past item that came through, and I need an answer probably tonight if you can help me out, both you and the chief. On positive note, I've got to read it because I wrote it down so it wouldn't take too long. Basically, I want to identify that I have failed the Municipal District of St. Stephen in achieving the simple action to protect my constituents in Ward 1 and the Municipal District of St. Stephen in assuring guaranteed fire access in a very vulnerable area. And as you know, several months ago, we put in a request to have Hanson Road repaired, fixed, whatever. We haven't heard a thing back. Now, I've been approached by a lot of people. I took another drive again, probably the 20th, to go look at that road. In the past 3 years, I have had several points of contact, even a formal request from here, as I said to the province, helping my riding with a few $1,000s, some gravel, a grader, and one culvert section over 700 or 800 feet on the top of a hill. Hundreds of our, in my humble opinion, hundreds of our rural and urban residents are at potential risk. Mahannis, Upper Mills, Burnt Hill, Little Ridge, and Milltown East, at least, maybe even the whole town. I'm not comfortable with the word potential. On behalf of the citizens of the Municipal District of St. Stephen, please hear my plea. And I say that, I didn't know what other word to use. Plea is the word. It's not to you people, it's to someone out there. I'm asking our fire chief and the municipal district manager's team for immediate action to engage the DFI for immediate action to have the access road repaired, I put 500 feet, in order to provide emergency response. Why? Well, first was recreation, emergency service, police, border patrol, railway access. But the most important thing right now that's coming through my mind is fire. And over the past 2 years, we've witnessed the creation of potential fire hazards due to fallen trees. In my opinion, they're not fallen trees anymore, they're kindling. And even coming in tonight, I think there's a third one in 2 weeks, warning of lightning storms, thunderstorms, and that's fire. So I did a few hours, I'm almost done, I did a few hours of statistics, and the biggest thing that's across Canada and the world is basically climate change and the risk of warming temperature, which dries the forest out quickly. Fires are greater intensity and becoming more common across the province. 256 recorded forest fires in 2024, 175 so far reported as of yesterday in the province. So it's there. It hasn't changed much. It might even be escalating. Local storms associated with thunderstorm, heavy rain, hail, strong winds, sudden temperature changes, and lightning, resulting in lightning-caused fires. There's a lot of the creation of the fires within the province and Canada. And across Canada and across the United States and probably across the world, the fires are more destructive than they ever have been. And it's probably because it's drier, wind conditions, etc. I've been watching television a lot, and I went out the other day and I couldn't figure out. In the weather forecast, our area was poor weather condition, poor quality of air. Looked good to me, but apparently all the forest fires out west and wherever else is drifting this way, and when it comes out here, we haven't got good air. We just can't even see it. It's bad. In recent years, again, we know this for sure, the St. Andrews, a very dangerous situation during the Bocabec forest fire. If the wind had just came in a different direction, what would have been happening? What happened to St. Andrews? I mean, we're only talking kilometers away from population. A lot of population was there. Simply, that fire started, I guess, according to this facts here, it was started by a four-wheeler, and we've got a lot of four-wheelers in the woods now, as you know. United States last year had an increase in forest fires from 56,000 to 64,000. That's 8,000 more forest fires in the United States alone in 1 year. That's a big increase. That's almost 20% increase in fire. And as of July the 23rd this year, there were 345 forest fires in Canada, and unless I have completed the math wrong, our county here is tied with two others for second place for the most forest fires in the province. Now, all I've said now, and I'm going back to my first statement, I'm asking the chief and our chief administration officer if you could escalate that one we put out before, because I'm not trying to scare our residents. I'm personally scared myself that I failed in getting that little piece of road fixed. They decommissioned it. I was out the other day, look, I got it in my truck. It was raining. I wouldn't take it down in there, and I got a four-wheel drive. So anyway, and that's where I'm going to stop. I just want to make a point that, can you help out in any way? Please let me know, okay?
Thanks.
So, in the future, Councillor, you can. It's an important topic, but you should add that to the agenda so people.
I tried, but it was too late.
Well, then you gotta wait. I know I get you didn't want to wait, but it would give the public time to see it in the agenda, and us time and staff time to prepare for an answer or whatever. But yes, but definitely it's an important discussion for sure, and action. So thank you. And you can add it to the agenda.
Okay, no, I was too late.
Well, we can amend sometimes too.
It just hit me in the head. All of a sudden.
Okay, all right.
Anyway.
Counselor?
I still think you should add it to the next agenda. Like, give us that report in writing so it's in the agenda package and we can review it again, because I agree, but yeah, I was
I
trying.
hope we get something done
Yep.
before that.
All right. Oh, I just shut you down.
That's okay. I just wanted to say the housing piece is absolutely fantastic. I'm so excited about this. I know that we often say housing isn't our mandate, but it does affect our community when we don't have enough housing. So this is just super exciting when I see how many units are potentially coming our way. And I just want to thank you, Jeff, because truthfully, I mean, we could leave it to MB Housing to kind of take the reins on this, but instead we've been working with a lot of developers, and it shows. The Future St. Stephen collaboration as well shows. I mean, we're seeing it come to fruition, so great job with the housing. That's a lot of units.
Thank you. Just when you mentioned MB Housing, we are actually rising up on their radar as well lately. Had a call largely out of the blue from their team who are coming down, bringing their team here on site to look at the supportive housing element of the housing ladder, which I've been arguing with them that you can't stop at the shelter. There has to be the next step. And they're hearing us. And their intention, as they explained it to me, was to come down, talk about needs, look at potential locations, and so that they can do their budget submissions for their next fiscal. So that's obviously we're on their radar with social development and NB housing as well, to start continuing that work. And so I was really appreciative of the team to reach out and be willing to jump in their vehicles and come down from Fredericton and actually put boots on the ground, so that we can have that conversation.
Okay. All right. So we've heard the report, had the mover and seconder, and we had our questions. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Most carried, thank you. And, okay, public comment period.
Chandra Best from Ward 3. So one quick thing, I hope I won't run out of time, is I wanted to say on behalf of someone else, thank you so much for taking steps on the clothing donation bins, not only in agreeing to remove them, but also the fact that you're going to look at a bylaw later on. So we're happy to hear about that. The other thing I want to mention tonight is around the recommendation to appoint a new assistant treasurer. The document on page 140, I'm a little bit concerned about it because it completely omits any mention of any financial implications around that decision, or if that's what you guys decide to do today. While the report says there will be no increase in staffing, it also says, nothing about whether the appointment will come with a pay increase, a stipend, or training or certification, all of which are typical. And we do see a lot of funds being spent throughout the year for our treasurer now and in the past. So those aren't minor details. I think that those are important. If there are costs involved now or later, they should be disclosed. Council may understand that those are costs that are going to be coming, maybe because you have internal discussions, but if it's not written down on the page, then the public doesn't know, and there's no room for a conversation with us or with you. So we shouldn't be expected to read between the lines. I think that should be clear information that's right on paper. We're the funders of the decision. We're also the key stakeholders, so we have a right to see the full picture. When financial information is missing from an official recommendation, it weakens transparency and undermines accountability. So I personally don't appreciate any kind of a vague kind of documentation at all, especially a request for a decision, especially when it's an appointment involving a person who's going to be managing public funds. So I think it's just more than just one appointment. It's about setting a consistent expectation that financial implications are included in all future decisions, and not assumed, not glossed over, and not kept out of the public record. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more? Oh.
Mr. Mayor. David Whittingham from Ward 2 from town. Just have it's a question, but obviously it has to be a comment. After the end of the public meeting this evening, Council is going into closed session, and there's two items, proposed acquisition or disposition of land, and number 2, negotiation of agreements. Will the Council, after that closed meeting, be reopening the meeting for a public vote on any of those decisions being made?
Yeah, there'll be no decisions tonight. I don't know if you heard me. I'll just wait. Okay. Yeah. I don't know if you heard me, David, but yes, I did. Oh, okay. All right. Thanks. Okay. Next okay. So I'll take a mover and seconder to move into the departmental information reports to be acknowledged and received. Councillor Heislett, Councillor Cornish. Okay, we'll start with the Deputy CAO report.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll start with Public Works, I guess. Not a whole lot to add. I will say that we've got the flail mower out going around, clearing around the edges of some of the streets and sidewalks. So that's ongoing and will be ongoing now that the grass is tall and grown up. Skim patching, our maintenance program, we're probably about, 2/3 of the way through that. It's been a good summer for spreading asphalt. Was a terrible spring, but a good summer, so we're burning up our budget on that, but getting a lot of good work done. So that'll be ongoing for a little bit longer. And as well, we had ordered back over, earlier in the year, we had ordered a bunch of signs that staff had identified needed to be repaired or replaced, so that's ongoing as well. I do have a lot of course, it's in my report every month, civic number and street name applications, but this month seems to have been extremely busy for civic number applications, so one could assume that that might mean that there's going to be some development going along with that. I can't say for sure, but usually when you're looking for a civic number, it's because you plan to do something there, so maybe that's a trend that will keep going and not a bad thing. The lagoon blower building construction, that's advancing well. I got an update today from Dylan. Basically, the building's up, the equipment's in. I mean, they're still running wires and stuff to get things working. We still have to put the facade on, the bricks that go on the outside, and windows have got to go in. But it is moving along quite well. Glad to see that after a long old time getting here. And of course, item number 8 is probably the biggest thing we've been dealing with in the last little bit. We had a leak in Lagoon Pond number 2 in the clay liner. This isn't unprecedented. It's happened a number of times over the life of the lagoon, and it's one of those things that can happen with the type of lagoon that we have. Fortunately, we were able to get it and get at it quickly, and we've got it sealed up pretty tight. That being said, we do need to do some work to both the ponds, and we need to plan over the medium to long haul, just like all of our infrastructure. I sound like a broken record. We do need to do some work there, and also we've got some foliage and stuff that we've got to deal with as well. We did start at it, but I've got to look at the budget and see whether I've got to push that out maybe to next year. But some things to do, but crisis averted once again, and I still haven't got all the invoices in yet. I don't know exactly what it costs, but we'll report that later when it comes. So that's the highlights from Public Works. If anybody had any questions on Public Works before I move on to Protective Services, I guess I would take them.
Counselor?
I just want to thank Sean because I reached out about a certain crosswalk, and not only did he give me the information, but it was done pretty quick. So it's nice to see some of that paving being done and some of the new lining being done around town. And I just want to thank you for your quick response.
Oh.
Sorry. You're welcome. And what it was is there was a couple of crosswalks that didn't get painted, and I think the public thought we forgot them, but we had planned to come back and skim coat with asphalt, and we didn't want to waste the paint, waste our time type thing. So that was the situation. And there's a few other places that are still in that situation, but sometimes we do it that way. Okay.
Yeah, so you gotta get more there. Or your next topic.
No more on Public Works, so I'll move on to Protective Services. We had 26 calls this month, so that's a little bit lower than usual, but not too far off the typical stuff that we see every month. I would like to say that despite the fact that we're having a shower right now and a few planned for overnight, things are very dry. Not so much here, but I am aware of fires not too far from here that have burnt into the ground. They haven't gone up and been able to run, but when they do start, they're burning down, and that's what we don't like. So I just, with the long weekend coming up, it's given really good weather. Just want to remind everybody, if you're out and around, whether it's in your backyard or at your camp or Hanson Cove or wherever you may be, please be vigilant. If the fire index is red, please adhere to it. If it is green, you still need to be safe, because there are a lot of days where it will be green, but that doesn't mean it isn't dry. So just please be careful. And if you do get a fire going and you lose control, don't wait to call. Call right away, please. I guess I really didn't have much else highlighted in my report for protective services, but I'd take questions if there were any.
Councilor Greenlaw?
Yeah, brush fires, just wondering, do you know what the cause of the brush fires were? I think one was in my area. I think I drove by when you come into the woods, and of course that makes me nervous. Was it lightning? Was it?
We're not totally sure what the cause was there. There was a hydro line right above it, and there were branches rubbing the line, so in all likelihood, that's the best guess we would have on that one. I don't think it was a cigarette or anything like that, because normally cigarettes would start right at the ditch, and this one was underneath the hydro lines in a bit. So that's what we're going with, but unconfirmed, really. Yeah.
And then the tent fire.
That was on a property here in town, a private property. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. I guess, okay, thank you, Sean. Let's see, no more questions. Okay, we'll go on to Southwest New Brunswick Service.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll be brief. There's a agenda item for the zoning bylaw, so I'll talk about that one later. 2 months ago, PRAC approved a legal non-conforming use extension for a mobile home in the St. David Plain area off Board Road. So this is an addition to a use that was grandfathered under that rural plan. We provided the CAO and Future St. Stephen with assistance on citing a potential new development, so assisting with some mapping and so on. In terms of development, you've had 11 new building permits that we referred to the building inspector in the last month. You've had 57 year to date, 25 development permits year to date, 8 new in the last month. Number of signed permits, 8 subdivision approvals in total, with 10 new building lots added year to date. And you've had quite a number of homes, 40 in total year to date, and 9 in the last month. So that probably explains the civic address bump. Total new construction for Municipal District of St. Stephen that has come through is $8.5 million. So that concludes my report.
Thank you, and I'd like to thank you for your work on those. The quick responses too, like when just one call, and I got this whole team working on housing development, and all those answers or questions are being answered too. So it's very beneficial for those developers. So thank you. Oh, Councillor Otis.
This is just a curious question I have, but I have a lot of people who've been reaching out recently about recreation, like wanting to have a discussion just solely on recreation, sort of like how we've been talking about town halls, but just specifically on that topic. So I'm wondering if it would be possible, maybe if I could reach out to you, Alex, and maybe even Kev, to host kind of an informal like coffee house where people can just come by and then actually go over the recreation specific items within the new municipal plan that's coming out, and then also just have a chance to have group feedback right then and there. And my other purpose for that is also I foresee in the future it'd be really awesome to have kind of a recreation ad hoc committee of individuals, because our recreation is growing in our community and our youth are super, super involved. And I just think with all the development on the horizon and all the new initiatives that we have coming, it would be kind of cool to have a recreation specific kind of coffee house. So I'm just throwing that out there. I had a few people reach out to me. They want to talk basketball, they want to talk flag football, they want to talk football, they want to talk parks, like some of the smaller parks. And I think when we talk about the municipal plan on the council meetings, people miss out. And sometimes they're posting things or talking about things in community about ideas that they have, not knowing that's already part of that plan. So because we're such a recreation focused community, do you think that would be possible?
Yeah, I mean, the stuff regarding the municipal plan, I'm happy to, with Kev and Jeff, as you guys see fit, to participate. Operational stuff, of course, is all Kev. Nothing to do with that. But yeah, like the municipal plan discussions, the community was really engaged on the idea of the parks and recreation. They love the stuff that the community offers, but want to see parks to be even more fun. And so yeah, it's a really big point of discussion, and the municipal plan had a lot of focus on recreation and different ideas and recommendations, and so yeah, it's good discussion.
Thank you. Okay. All right, Alex, thank you so much. Speaking of recreation, we'll move into Parks and Community Service Report. Kev.
Thank you, Your Worship. So just to go through the highlights of my report, I started with an unbudgeted expense item. It relates to the pools we have at the GCC, and we've had some heating issues. It's the original part that was in place from when the Civic Centre was built. As you can see, it was quite costly. We also had a floor scrubber, which obviously no explanation needed for what that was for, but these are expensive items, and they do impact our budget lines. So I wanted to share those just so you're aware of those as we enter the second half of 2025. So as for our capital upgrades that are going on this year, just the summaries of the greenhouse, the factory in Quebec, it went on a 2-week shutdown, annual shutdown for holidays, and it was almost ready to leave the factory, but it wasn't quite there. So we're still prepping the ground, and it's thanks to Sean's crew, with a installation date of early September, hopefully even late August, and moving forward before, so we get all our orders in place, get prepped for the iron any problems out before we head into winter, and then we start up again in the spring. So as for the pool liner, still scheduled for just over 3 weeks away, so really excited about that. We are still seeing minor leaks at the outdoor pool, burning through a little bit of chemical with this heat, but so far so good. Whatever we're doing, it's working, so we'll keep on doing that. And the same for the tennis court. No confirmed date yet, but I know we did say late summer or fall for that. And just another highlight there regarding upgrades and projects. Jeremy had his he met all the regulations for New Brunswick. It's one of the things we've seen in recent years is now any risk of Legionnaires or anything in cooling towers. The GNB is really coming down on that and making sure that there's strict regulations there, and we're meeting those. So that's good for us to do. Outside in the parks and public spaces, July was busy, of course. We had Canada Day. The VIC opened on time. GMB were impressed with the cabin, which was really great. There's still some minor corrections we want to do structurally, that's just for our benefit, helping the staff, but they were really impressed with what they saw. The new playground equipment was installed. Still waiting on that swing to come in. And work continues at Jake Donahue Park as we're adding a bench. We're getting the sign has actually been replaced. And in another event we had in Milltown just a couple of weeks ago was their street dance. We took down the nets and we helped them out, and appreciate again, it was the works crew coming out late hours just to help make sure the DJ had enough power. Really, really good event, and great for the community. So pleased for that. The other thing to just report about the fences have been upgraded at the tennis courts, and we're hoping that by the end of this week the soccer nets go up at Legion Field as well, at Rotary Field there. So as for the GCC, we've had a great weekend last weekend with the Seawolves and their selection camp. We had lots of families in from really all over the country, and they
of course, stayed and ate in St. Stephen's, so it was great for us to see that. And we've, of course, got the New Brunswick Day coming up, and lots of events going on there. The Beat the Heat Day International Festival. We've got the Ice Dogs coming up in 3 weeks tonight, so please buy your tickets. And I'm sure there's other things that we could talk about. If there's any questions, we'll gladly take them. So.
Councillor Heislip?
Yeah, I'd just like to put a bug in your ear, Kevin. I use the Elm Street Park quite often, and I don't know if we could put some collaborative talks with the group that used to be in charge. No, well, they took charge of that park at one time. I find it's kind of fallen into disrepair as far as the trails go, and to nobody's fault. I mean, we had a lot of those blowdowns and everything, and there's a lot of the trails are covered and you know, kind of fallen into disrepair. And I don't know if there's any funding out there for even like a mobility impaired person to go through that park. There might be some funding there, but I think that park's underutilized, really. Very underutilized. I'm there at least once or twice a day. For the last month, I can count on one hand how many people are using the dog park. It's a great facility. It's one of the better ones, I think, that I've seen from Moncton down, that I've stopped to with the dog and taken him out for a run. And you know, I've been to the one in St. Andrews. It's out in the open, and you know, this one here is a great park, but it just seems to be underutilized. And the walking trail is underutilized. I mean, I haven't come across anybody in my walks, and my dog likes to go down and have a little swim in the, I don't know if he should, but in the water down there. I don't know how clean it is, but he goes for a little run, but I see fish in it. And I come across maybe in the park itself, there's one day I think there was 4 other dogs, and that was it. And that's after the last month and a half, right? I mean, maybe I'm not going at the right time, and maybe somebody can prove me wrong, but I think the park's underutilized. I don't know if we're advertising enough or promoting it, or what the problem is, but there's a lot of blowdowns in there, and so some people can't even access some of the trails, really. So I don't know if we can, you know, rejuvenate talks with that group and give them a hand through Public Works, or not Public Works, but yeah, I put some more stuff on your plate, but there's a lot of stuff that just even laying on the trail when I walk in, right? That's already been chunked up, but it hasn't been removed, right? So maybe we can do something there. And I don't mind sitting on any kind of group that wants to go and get together for it, so I'll volunteer that for sure, or even lending a hand.
I think the group's a good idea. Yeah. And, yeah. Okay, thank you. We'll talk maybe a little more about that after. Okay. Yeah. Are you good? All right. Well, you mentioned Canada Day. I want to thank the Deputy Mayor for handling Canada Day for me. I was in Halifax with my daughter. We spent Canada Day in Halifax. So thank you for covering. And next up, Assistant Treasurer report.
Thank you, Your Worship. Report's in front of you. I just highlight some of the areas for discussion. I indicated at the beginning of the report how impressed I am with the new finance clerk. I don't want to just pick on her. She has done a great job. She's a very capable person, and she's learning very quickly. But I also want to make sure that we recognize the fact and the work that our corporate services manager has been doing as well. And she's been stepping up to not only with assisting the finance clerk, but also with the work that I've been assigning her, and the work that's been assigned by through the CAO's office as well. So I just want to make sure that we recognize the fact that I've got both individuals are very capable, and I'm very pleased to have them working with me. Activity during the month of June, receivables, bills had gone out. Just a notice for the public in general that payments are due by the end of August. After the end of August, there's interest charges, so it'd be nice to see you make those payments by then. And I intend to pay mine by then as well. So. Payables, The other thing I guess I just want to say, when we're dealing with the receivables, we're dealing with the payables, and it comes back to both of them. We have new software, and I know we've mentioned this, I think every council meeting, new software that we're looking to work with. We've been working quite diligently in trying to get the budget software up to speed, but we haven't started working yet on the payroll and the payables. So I guess the issue and the part that we have to sort of try to manage is the fact that while we are preparing and while we are looking at getting that software up to speed, we also have to maintain a parallel system and do all this in the time constraints that we have in the run of a normal day. So certainly a challenge, but again, as I say every meeting, we're certainly looking forward to the stage when and I can see at the end of the day how this is going to help overall. But in the meantime, we've got to get through and work through the challenges that we have, just trying to make sure that we don't fall behind in what we're doing on a day-to-day basis while we're trying to get this up and going. Because there's certainly going to be a fairly significant time issue and amount and work that's going to be involved in not only getting the systems up and going, but also learning the systems. I guess I did some work last month too. Jeff had mentioned there's lots of movement of staff. I think that I don't even know where everybody is right now. They're still trying to find them underneath paper somewhere. We are moving things around, as Jeff had indicated. Essentially, I'm moving across the hall, Jeff's moving across the hall, Nikki's moving down the hall. We're leaving Sydney alone, so she's happy about that. I'm working on HST now for, it indicates in here there's no compliance until the end of June, but we do have a report that's due tomorrow to the end of June, and that's on, should be done by noontime by tomorrow. And all rebates have now been caught up and filed to the end of December, and we've started work, and we're continuing to work on getting our 2025 up to date. I'll mention a little bit more about that in a second. Insurance work, continuing discussions and working with the adjuster for claims with regards to our lagoon. We've had, to date, I've had 2 invoices in from the contractor, and that either have been paid or in process to be paid. And we had received an advance from the insurance company, and we're working against that advance. Their plan is to sort of reconcile that, or have us reconcile that advance on a quarterly basis and then re-advance. And in the interim, we have availability of gas tax funds to use to fund anything that we might need in the difference in the interim. Also working, and we're just actually finalizing this, sent the final forms out here about a week ago on the claim for the wind damage for the 6 King, which is the world's oldest basketball court building. Back in 23, I think it was November 23, we had a windstorm come through and it sort of tore off part of the roof, and there was some water leakage in there. That resulted in having brickwork that needed to be done before they could even look at the roof. That's been completed. The work has all been completed, but we've been playing around with the insurance for the last year or so, but that's now been finalized, and we're expecting the check basically any day now. The final thing I guess I want to mention is ongoing, is just our audit. Our role, except for possibly signing of a couple of forms, is complete. Talking with the auditors last couple of days, there's really nothing else for us to do, so that's why we're sort of moving on and now getting into the meat of what we need to do for 2025. But more importantly, we are looking at a presentation to council on August 27th for your next meeting. So that'll finalize that. So we're very pleased about that.
Did everyone hear that? Yeah. Okay, you know how early that is? Oh, I know. All right, just want to make sure. Thank you. Go ahead.
That's it. The check register is there. And if there's any questions, I will certainly try to answer or get back to you with an answer.
Councilor Greenlaw?
Yeah, thanks for the great update, Frank. That was excellent, and I do really appreciate how far ahead you guys have come with the reconciliation, the audits. Just wanted to ask real quick, how are we with water sewer bills in arrears? I know for a while there it was getting fairly large, and are we catching up?
I would have to actually take a look to see what that balance is, but I mean, really what you have to take a look at is where we were a couple of years ago. And a couple of years ago, we had one significant balance on there that represented basically half of what our total receivable balance is. That has been collected, so we are down considerably, but you know, I think that it is a challenge. Part of the challenge is that we really don't have a collections, you know, personnel. So it's really our staff trying to collect as we can collect. And so we work at it, but it certainly is a challenge.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Frank. And next up, Future St. Stephen Economic Development Report. Stacy.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm filling in for Rivers Corbett, President. So just a couple pieces. We had our AGM here a couple months ago, and we had a couple members leave, and so we had a couple members step up. I am now the acting chair, and we also brought in David Purcell. He's coming back to town, so he's got a lot of experience in the hotel industry and has been a great asset already to the board. And for some of you who's working at MDS, he'll be reaching out. We're trying to update our reports to give us a little bit more ammunition when Rivers is out looking at potential developers. A couple things that we've done is we have a 5-pillar strategy. I know that's going to be updated in the fall, but we created 2 subcommittees. So our board is divided now into 2 subcommittees as we work forward. One is around housing and hotel, and the second is around retention and small business. And Councillor wrote us just on that recreation piece. We actually had that discussion here last week. It might be a part that we would like pull into Future St. Stephen to make sure we coordinate together and collaborate a little bit more. And I think it can be a nice piece to add into that. Rivers is doing a great job. He and Jeff working together. There, as it's been discussed here earlier, there's a local development specific with an MDSS property, an asset of St. Stephen, and it's really focused around affordable housing. And then the next piece would be we're just waiting for the appraisal on the hotel property. It should be in any day now, and there's a lot of positives on that front. And then finally, Connection Works. There's a proposal expected within 2 weeks with them as well. So there's been a lot of great work really in the last 3 months. So that's it from Future St. Stephen.
Thank you, Stacy, and you're correct. That was a good meeting that we had with you and Rivers and Jeff and I, and thank you for bringing up that recreation. I actually forgot about bringing that up, but I'm glad that bringing that in because that is important. It pulls everything together, and it's great for our community, the future of our community. All right, any questions, Council? All right, thank you, Stacy. And good old bylaws. All right, I'll take a mover and seconder that the draft of the zoning bylaw Z-4 be given its first reading by title, and that the draft of the bylaw be forwarded to the Planning Review and Adjustment Committee, PRAC, seeking their written views. Oh, I'll keep on going here. And that the date of the public hearing of objections be set for September 10th, 2025 in accordance to the Community Planning Act, and that the council directs planning staff to hold an open public information session on the draft zoning bylaw Z-4 on August 14th, 2025 at 6 p.m. at the Garcelon Civic Center. Mover and seconder, please. Councilor Heislip, Councilor Greenlaw. Questions? Councilor Otis?
I'm just wondering, just because this is attached to our package tonight, if you, in layman's terms, can explain There are a lot of concerns about the shelter, obviously. So I know that when the province implemented it, it was already zoned institutional, right? So it already fell within that nonprofit category. I'm just wondering if you can explain kind of, I really just need you to explain how this zoning bylaw and the changes that we're proposing will impact that particular space. Like, is that something that we can foresee in the future? Because when I read the emergency shelter piece, it's confusing, I think, for the average person when you read the emergency shelter, because GMB sometimes uses the terms emergency shelter. You know, does that mean emergency shelter as in we're bringing people in the Civic Center because there's a hurricane, or does that mean emergency shelter as in the homelessness file? So I can't really find the words, but just because a lot of this lingo is far beyond me, I'm honest about that. I mean, I have to review it multiple times, but I like it when you explain it in layman's terms, for the public especially, because then I don't have to answer in your language.
Are you good, Alice? Okay.
Yeah, so through your worship, so the zoning bylaw is very comprehensive. It's going to cover all the land use regulations for the municipal district of St. Stephen. It's a lengthy document. We're dealing with 70 pages here. We're talking about farms to housing development, industrial development. It covers the whole gamut. When the former municipal plan and zoning bylaw were written, 2020 was the municipal plan, 2022 was the Z3. The concept of shelters was that it could be done in institutional zones under the municipal plan, and that's what was permitted. So there wasn't really a sort of a siting criteria. There was no standards for developing emergency shelters. Essentially, it's just a matter of getting a permit. So through this municipal plan process, and the zoning bylaw is essentially the complementary document to the municipal plan, so we still have to keep it in conversation of the overall municipal plan and in that draft. The concept of could there have been a better location for the shelter? Could there have been better standards for establishing a shelter? And that was something which definitely came forward through community consultation. There was a lot of concerns, and council is very aware of that. So with this bylaw, what council has the opportunity to do is actually set locations that could potentially be pre-designated for a future shelter sometime in the future, like having a pre-plan as opposed to going through a process of not having any zones for it. And then if you ever have another one in the future and you then are scrambling to find where it could go, you don't want to be in that situation. But what this essentially would do is, if you have a zone for the shelter and it's not the same one as the current one, essentially it becomes a grandfathered use. And the grandfathering doesn't mean it has to cease operation or anything to that effect. It just means that the goal is eventually to phase out the use. And so with all shelters, it's not the intent to have that as the permanent solution for people who are unsheltered. It's a step up. So with this concept of eventually, understanding that it may eventually phase out, you'd have a zone that you could establish one in the future. So you'd have sites that, to the greatest extent possible, mitigate land use impacts on neighbors, because there are land use impacts, and you can't mitigate them all. So there's really no perfect site or solution, but there are ways to mitigate. So fencing, there could be buffers, there could be locations that are less residential, less commercial. So that is the concept from the municipal plan draft, and that's some of the discussions we've had around this table, and they definitely came out through the community consultation quite loud and clear. So that's the concept. Emergency shelter is the definition. We looked at some best practices in New Brunswick for examples, Fredericton, St. John, and so that the definition, the bylaw you can find, it's for persons in crisis in need of temporary accommodations. So it's not necessarily in cases of, if you have a state of emergency, Jeff can just assign the Civic Center as a place for people to go. Like, it's with the mayor's powers, like these types of things can happen in a state of emergency. That's not what this is about. This is about what we have with the shelter and the common understanding we're talking about. So, does that?
The other thing I just find confusing about the shelter initiative itself is just generally like if it's GMB's initiative and there are other services happening within, because there may be like mental health and addictions on site, and then the nonprofit who's operating it is being funded through GNB. So I do find it all really confusing when it's a provincially funded initiative as to who kind of takes full ownership at the end of the day. And I think that is confusing for residents as well, because, there are many nonprofits who are focused on solely one thing, but when you're serving a complex population like this one, you have like different partners at the table. It's exactly what Jeff was speaking about having the housing summit. It's like you're inviting people from healthcare as well, because there's an addictions and mental health component, then there's a safety component, and then there's a justice component. So I do find it confusing because it was zoned institutional, and obviously, yes, we have a shelter, and yes, there's a need for a shelter, but there's just so many departments kind of involved that it's just a challenge. So I thank you for answering that question. I think you did a really good job, but I know it's going to come up more, and I think even for me personally as a counselor, I do find it confusing when it comes to how many different things are at play in one location.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Greenlaw.
Yeah, so all the feedback and any written submissions will be submitted to council post. Okay, thank you very much. I'd like to see them all. Thank you.
Okay. I had my mover and seconder. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, new business. I'll take a mover and seconder for the request for decisions. Treasurer appointment. Proposed resolution that council appoint Mr. Frank Godso as the treasurer for the Municipal District of St. Stephen effective August 1st, 2025. Councilor Wright, Councilor Greenlaw. I guess I don't have to say all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations. Motion approved. Did you oppose? Yeah. No, I appreciate it. Thank you, Frank. And thank you for all the work beforehand, doing the job. You've been doing the job for quite some time, so thank you. Oh, sure. Yes, Councilor Wright.
I also want to thank our CAO, Jeff, for taking on the role temporarily. Council felt that was the wisest decision while we were implementing new systems and doing a complete overhaul of that department rather than appointing someone and bringing them into that hot mess right away. So thank you, Jeff, for stepping up and taking on those additional responsibilities in the interim. I appreciate it.
I second that, or third it, or fourth it. All right, so thank you, folks. Assistant treasurer appointment. That council approved I need a mover and seconder, that council approved the appointment of Nikki Mott, sorry, Nikki, if you're watching this, as assistant treasurer to be effective with the appointment of the current assistant treasurer as treasurer. Mover and seconder. Councilor Heislip, Deputy Mayor Wheaton. Question? Councilor Greenlaw?
Just, is this something that is budgeted for? Like, do we have room in the budget? Because we're probably going to get an increase in wages.
Yeah, it is budgeted for, and to the citizens' comment, and it was well taken, actually. We'll look at the financial implications. As the citizen noted, we know internally that there's not going to be a compensation element of this. It's an added duty on the edge of a current position, but that wasn't the public knowledge. So the point is well taken. So I want to make sure I address that. What we Frank and I had a good go-around about how to best approach the signing authorities and the assistant treasurer discussion. There was even discussion at one point of whether I should just hold on to the assistant treasurer title to handle things, but that we quickly determined that created a logical circle with the way the legislation's written as to who reports to who. So we didn't want to cause any chaos. So what we looked internally, obviously that department has gone from 6 members to 3 within the last year. So we had to do some juggling of responsibilities. As Frank did in his report, Ms. Mott has been a stellar asset to us during this entire change process. Has been at Frank's right hand for quite a long time now. So when we started really looking at how to best set things up, it was a unanimous decision of our 2 offices that Nikki get that title, so that if Frank is away on vacation, if God forbid he hits the lottery and decides to leave us, we can still legally sign checks and get people, probably more importantly, get payroll out on a regular basis. So, yeah, so it's been, but yes, it's a budget, not a budget issue. Like I said, there's no compensation change there. It's just filling out the job description that Ms. Mott currently holds.
And of course, less people is less than room for, Councillor Cornish.
Just looking at our new treasurer, I don't know how much our audience has kept up with it, but you inherited quite a challenge over the last year. I think we were probably about this time last year, we were talking about new processes, new systems. We got a professional firm to come in and look at the processes and what we could put the electronics to, et cetera. A reduction in staff. And obviously, as Councillor Greenlaw stated, that's the first time we've actually seen proper timing for reports coming out. So I'd like to personally congratulate you on that, because we talked about processes and procedure being my past life, and I think you've done very well, and you certainly deserve it. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Brian. All right. Had a mover and seconder and questions done. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Congratulations, Nikki. Mott. I just never called her by her last name. It's always just been Nikki. Right, so, holy mackerel. Yes. Do I have permission just to read the title, please?
Yes.
Thank you, folks. A mover and seconder for the amended bank resolutions, proposed resolution, the Bank of Nova Scotia signing authorities that Council of the Municipal District of St. Stephen resolves. And then you guys see it all written there for the Royal Bank. Oh, no, that's the next one, sorry. So that's the Bank of Nova Scotia. Any questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you so much.
Mover and seconder for that, Your Worship.
Did I not do the mover and seconder? I'm so worried about reading all that. All right.
I move.
Okay, Councillor Cornish? Councillor Greenlaw? And we had the question. All those in favor again? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried officially. Thank you. Thank you, Celeste. Yes, so the next one is the Royal Bank of Canada signing authorities. Same thing. Any questions? All those are jeepers. I'm doing it again. Councillor Greenlaw? Councillor Cornish? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Oh, geez, I'm glad that's 3 pages long.
That's the new treasurer, Your Worship.
Attention to detail. Okay. Next up is, where is it? Just all tying together here, sorry. Just hang on a second. It is D, okay. Designation, mover seconder for the designation of UMNB voting representative on behalf of the MDSS Council.
So whoever moves it should put a name in the blank, Your Worship.
Anyway, okay, I got a mover, seconder? Counselor Rodas. So are we looking for a name tonight?
Yes, Your Worship.
All right.
Wade.
No, Wade's already active in there too. We want to leave him alone. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yes, mayor, and then, yeah, you're exactly right. And then I need a backup, but that's the next one. All right, so there's the mayor's name. Okay, that Al McCachran, Mayor of St. Stephen, be appointed as a voting member of the meeting of the Union of Municipalities of New Brunswick. And that, I need an alternate.
Counselor Wright.
Oh,
Counselor Wright.
this council? Okay, all right, Counselor Wright. All right, the Counselor Wright be appointed as the alternate voting member. This is a housekeeping order that UMNB needed, so it's just, we were already doing this anyway, but just some housekeeping. All right, so I had a mover, I had a seconder. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Motion moved. Oh, there's another one for Joyce, too. Okay, so I need a mover and seconder that the council appoint Councillor Joyce Wright to the Board of Directors for the Business Improvement Area pursuant to Section 5, Bracket 3 of the Business Improvement Area, effective date immediately.
So moved.
Councillor Greenlaw, Councillor Rodas. Questions?
No, it's awesome.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Congratulations, Joyce. And much appreciated. Mover and seconder for the council assents to the subdivision plan with the municipal service easement pursuant to Section 88 of the Community Planning Act. Yeah, Deputy Mayor Wheaton. One more second. Councillor Heislip. Any questions? Councillor Wright, question, please.
Just one point of clarification. I believe this is just something that we inherited as
Yeah, there's a subdivision off Valley Road, and it actually is on municipal water. And so when they did the subdivision, they needed a municipal services easement for those water lines. So should there need to be repairs, the municipality had to go in, they'd have the right to go into that private right-of-way and do whatever needed to be done. But it's a technicality that it does need council's assent. There really is no cost to the municipality. There would just be laterals that they're going to install that Sean's okayed, but it's not the municipality who has to install anything here. Yeah.
All right. So mover and seconder, no more questions. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. All right. Clothing donation bins on municipal lands. And take a mover and seconder that council directs the administration to notify clothing donation bin operators that all bins currently located on municipally owned property must be removed no later than September 30th, 2025, and that staff be directed to remove and dispose of any remaining bins after that date, with all reasonable attempts made to notify the organizations responsible in advance, and that moving forward, no clothing donation bins be permitted on municipal property unless authorized by a written agreement approved by council. Councilor Wright, Councilor Greenlaw, any questions? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. All right, I'll take a mover and seconder for the proposed resolution that council cancel the International Homecoming Festival Parade and directs administration to relocate the associated resources to the hosting of the Community Street Fair. Mover? Deputy Mayor Wheaton? What is that noise? Oh, jeez. Seconder?
Second.
Councilor Wright? Questions? Councilor Wright?
Thank you, Mayor. My question was, Deputy Mayor sits on the International Festival Committee, and I was just making sure that Callis is in taking the same stance as we are, or maybe she doesn't have the answer and somebody else does? Kev.
I don't have all the answers, but I can speak. Michelle was hoping to attend, but she's gone home sick today. But yeah, the situation has been is the registration date has passed for requests for floats, and we have seen, as in last year, a significant decrease in the number even from last year. We have numbers that will start the parade, but they will stop on both sides. This year it was going to start in Calais, and they would turn off before it goes across the border, and then Canadian floats would join after the border and continue. So we had some comments last year, and of course, there was a lot of positives about it, but there was also a lot of negative comments as well. The downside, if this doesn't happen, it's unlikely that it will be able to come back. It's almost being grandfathered, and it's quite a unique situation. Michelle and Patty, especially Patty, have made calls, put out emails, posts, face-to-face conversations. We're not getting the numbers that we were a generation ago. Even post-COVID, it's really been hit hard. It's complete opposite for the Santa Parade in December. We're seeing 55 plus floats coming out. And the summertime, people are busy. It's the camp, it's the cottage, it's vacations. We're seeing, as we saw last year, a lot of the government entities, whether it's RCMP, ourselves, the border agencies, they're there. But if there is a significant emergency, we would lose the RCMP, would probably lose the chief and the fire department. And yeah, there's a smaller amount of floats that are taking part. So we haven't just gone into this lightly, and we still can have the parade. We can still host it. It won't be as good as the Santa Parade, but it will still be a parade, and it will continue. But it does need either new blood or it needs something, and we're not seeing that right now. So we've brought it to council just for a discussion, and here we are.
Deputy Mayor?
Okay, I've been attending the meetings for a number of years. Anyway, and I know that, as Kev mentioned, after COVID, it was very hard to bring them back. And this year, it's even been harder. Like, I know that the parade last year was very small, and because it's quite a process to cross over, and a lot of people do not want to cross over, and therefore they're not choosing to be part of the parade. And I know that the committee's worked very hard trying to entice people to take part in the parade. So like, I've gone to every meeting, and this has happened both on the American side and this side. So it's very sad to see it go, but I think it would be very, very small this year.
Councilor Wright? Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, for your insights, having sat on it, and thank you, Kev, for explaining. If it's not the parade that it was, where everybody's crossing back and forth, and Calais is doing their thing and ending at the border, and then St. Stephen doing their thing starting at the border and going up, then it's not the parade that it used to be. And if it's getting smaller, and this is what the committee's recommending, I just wanted that clarified, that it was a joint impact or joint statement, I guess. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, you go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. And as Kev mentioned, that the Santa Claus parade has been getting stronger and stronger, but they're not crossing. And our parade and their parade have been the same night. So they have their parade and we have our parade, right? So.
Councilor Greenlaw?
So this request is for this year only, not ongoing, or is it forever?
I believe it's just this year, but there's a very strong chance that the U.S. Customs side has said it's probably not going to be allowed in future because it is so unique, and once it stops, it's highly unlikely it's going to happen again. So,
yeah, I just like to do this for 1 year just to see how that plays out, rather than throw it forever. Yep.
Councilor Rodas?
The only thing I worry about, maybe it's because I'm a little bit sensitive and sentimental, is the fact that, like, in these trying times, we have demonstrated that Calais and St. Stephen, that we are still very much wanting to maintain a strong relationship regardless of the exterior political climate between Canada and the U.S. right now happening. So I actually think, even though it's hard and even though the parade may not have as many participants, for me, I think it speaks to just a larger desire to maintain a strong connection between two countries, even in the face of all the hardship happening around it. It's just really challenging for me to agree to say no, even though I recognize, like, my head says no and my heart says you can't say no. So I guess for me it's personally a no, just for the simple fact that it's tradition and a long-standing one that feels pretty devastating to end.
Go ahead, Brian.
Thank you, sir. Based on what Mr. Rhoda said, I agree 100%. I agree with Mr. Greenlaw also. I don't want to push the button on this one too soon. We don't know what's going to take place in the United States. It's well above us. But I've been out here for half a century. I have relatives on both sides of the border. We've always been really one town. I'd like to keep all options open, wait to see what the political environment becomes over the next little while, but keep the gates open, because I feel real bad what's going on both sides of the border, but there's nothing I can do about it. But I agree with Councillor Rodas. Let's not talk too much about it. I agree with Councillor Greenlaw. Let's just, if we have to do it, just do it for this 1 year only.
Okay. I'm not relating this to what's actually happening today, because I'm going to bring you back quite a few years ago. I know you guys weren't here, but this topic came up a lot. Well, you were here, Ghislaine. And I can remember getting mad and saying, you know what, if you're not having the parade, I'm going to be in the parade myself, and I'm still going to have it. And then that rejuvenated it. So I feel like I got to say that again. It is challenging, because it's been a long-standing tradition. I think it will seem like it's connected to what's going on today, and it is not. It's been dying out. There's no question. But the only way to liven it up, maybe, if they hear us talking tonight, and maybe that'll kickstart some people and understand the importance of how our communities are as one, and the reason why we have International Festival. And I heard talk about being unique. Yeah, it is unique. Well, we don't want to lose unique. I like unique. You know, that this is our thing, and I don't want to see us lose our tradition and our allowance to cross the border in such a way, because I know we were challenged after September 9/11 when they started doing passports. I mean, that was very challenging, and I had a lot of discussions with both sides of the border to how we're going to make this work, because everyone had to have IDs and passports, and it made it difficult, and that deterred people. And then it was challenging, but I still think we got to keep fighting and holding on to our tradition. I literally just talked to a reporter today from Maine that's coming here for International Festival Week, and he wants to come down. He wants to see the gunpowder that we have. That, you know, this goes back to 1812, folks. You know, our relationship, and it's been what, 52 years. You know, it's yeah. Listen, we can all vote nay. You know, and that's your choice, and. That's where I leave it. I just know it. I don't want to relate it to what the environment we're in today. It's been growing for a long time, but I think it needs to get electrified again. I got more? Yeah. Deputy Mayor and then Deputy Mayor.
I do. Well, I must say, International Festival is not just about the parade. I put some brochures outside, and if you look at it, there's a whole number of events. And where I've been attending the meetings, I mean, the committee has been very, like, they've really worked well with us, and working on activities, having activities where people go to both sides. But like, I know, like last year when I attended the parade, I was very sad, because I heard a lot of negative comments around me. And this year, when we started working on we didn't even know whether we'd even be able to have a parade, because this was back like in November and so on. And we did have to meet with the border people, and it was iffy whether we'd even have it. And all along, we were promoting the parade, but we just were not getting, the support. And I think that the festival still would be great without a parade. We have our fireworks, we have a whole lot of activities. Just pick up a brochure that we have. They've worked hard with their activities, so people that want to go over can go over. But you'd be surprised how many people are not going, to Calais, and a lot of people are not coming here. I do go, I do have family there, but I still think maybe with Wade, we can say we can look at it for a year. I don't know if it would come back, but I still think we'd have a great festival without the parade.
Councilor Wright?
I just want to reiterate that they said that it wouldn't actually be a parade where Calais and St. Stephen are together crossing. Calais was going to start at their end and come to the border and stop, then St. Stephen's side was going to hop on. So it's not the International Festival parade that we are used to. So if that's what it's going to be, you could have community parade anytime. I know it's sad, but if this is what the committee is recommending and staff can do something else that would hopefully draw more people and not see the negativity, because doing something and not having it done, I guess, to expectations just adds fuel to a fire of discontent. And is there any point in subjecting us to that? So I'm going to support the motion to reallocate the resources.
Okay. We had a mover, we had a seconder, we had lots of questions and comments and concerns. All those in favor? Oh, more questions? Go
I'm
ahead.
just going to be clear on the fact, is it for a year, or are we going to budget it this fall for next year? No. So we do an amendment? I'd like to propose amendment that this reallocation of funds be for 1 year only.
Everyone all right with that amendment?
Who's your mover and seconder? I'll move it. For the original motion, sorry, for the original motion, who's the mover and seconder?
Deputy Mayor and Councilor Wright.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does the mover and seconder consider that a friendly amendment?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you don't need to vote on the amendment, then it's been declared friendly, so now it's in, so now you just have to vote on the amendment.
All right, I'm going to reread it, though. That cancel the International Homecoming Festival. I hate even saying these words, folks. Let me start again. I hate saying it, but I'm going to say it again. Cancel the International Homecoming Festival parade for 1 year and directs administration to reallocate the associated resources to hosting of the Community Street Fair. Any more questions? Yes. Oh, Councilor Rose?
Is there any way we can gauge public feedback on this at all? I know it's cutting it close, but we did just recognize on doing our community safety survey that most people do use social media. Even if we can put out a poll on social media, I would feel more comfortable.
You know the praise next week.
No, I know, but that's all the more reason. Like, I find it challenging to make this decision with the parade. People expecting it next week. It's just so close. That's my last kind of call out.
Just the logistics, as we just stated, is next week we have an organizing committee that can't organize the parade because there's no participants in it. So I don't know how public gauging of anything would be yay or nay. It'll just be split one way or the other, and I don't think that would be any difference at this point in time. I mean, it's a week and 3 days away, right? Yeah, it's just setting them up, so.
Actually, thank you for those comments, Councillor, because at that point I was going to vote nay myself. So, but after you say that, I can't I can't, it's about the people trying to do it, and they can't do it. That's not fair, so, okay, thank you. Councilor Cornish?
Maybe a picky point, but I don't know. The word cancel seems to be awful strong. I don't know, defer, reallocate, put off. I don't know what it is, but cancel just seems to be just too strong. I don't know what the verb is at this time.
It just means you're going to start it back. Yeah, cancel's the word, I guess. It just sounds terrible. All right, let's rip the Band-Aid. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Councilor Rodas? That's it. All motion carried. Okay, man. Okay. Mover and seconder accept the council reports be acknowledged and received. Councilor Wright, Councilor Greenlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Mover and seconder that pursuant to Section 68, Bracket 1, the Local Governments Act, the council will move to closed session for the purpose of discussing 1, proposed acquisition and disposition of land, and 2, negotiation of an agreement. Councilor Greenlaw? Councilor Cornish? Question? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.